it's Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for May 2023. So on May 14th, we have Mercury, ruler of the mental plane, ruler of information, communication, how it is that we express ourselves, going direct after a what feels like forever long time retrograde here in this Taurus energy. So let's back up. Let's retrace our steps. Mercury first went retrograde on the 21st of April at 15 degrees in this Taurus energy. We are kind of awakening to a new perspective, a new reality, new circumstances, with Mercury coming out of his drunken and drugged slumber on the 14th at 5 degrees in Taurus energy. So this takes us back to retrace our steps, lightly dating back to the beginning of April. Of course, to get to the 15th degree on the 21st of April means that we have to go back to where Mercury was at that 5th degree. So this is going to definitely be a retracing of our steps, but this is a time for us to kind of review, reflect on the changes to the circumstances in our physical realms that have taken place, not only through retrograde season, but we had eclipse season overlap that as well. And as we all know, we're still very much in this eclipse energy until the new moon in Taurus on the 19th, which means that we are going to awaken. We are going to need 2 weeks in order for the mental fog to clear from that post-shadow period. So that takes us up to June 1st until our mental plane is actually working correctly again. But each and every single day that Mercury is direct, he will be gaining his bearings, kind of waking up, trying to piece together all that has taken place, all that has transpired. We have some unconscious patterns and behaviors that have been activated and in some cases rewritten over these last couple of weeks that now we just kind of have to put our finger on again. When Mercury first comes out of a retrograde, it almost feels like we woke up from like a very cryptic dream and we're trying really hard to kind of remember what that dream entailed and the aha moments that we gained from it and some very impressionable type of memories that that dream has kind of put upon us. And as we're trying to sort out what that dream actually kind of consisted of, we're taking a good look around at our physical realms, our physical circumstances, and we're kind of gauging all that has changed, all that has been deconstructed, all that has been destroyed, all that has been damaged, especially in the physical realm of our circumstances that Taurus energy rules over. And we're just trying to gain perspective, like what happened here. Very much similar to the type of energies that we would be sitting in after a very violent storm. You know, you're sitting in the darkness all night, you're hearing the wind scream, the thunder and the lightning pop off, you're hearing things out in the world being thrown around, you kind of peek out of a window if you're so brave, you can't really make sense of it, you don't really know what you're looking at. And then the next day, you know, the sun is out, the birds are chirping, and you open the door and you take a good look around at everything that just got thrown around, everything that got mixed up. There's new items in your yard that you've never seen before. You don't know where they belong. They don't know, you know, how to get them back to their rightful owner. There are things in that were in your yard that are no longer there. There is damage to certain, you know, aspects of your house, your yard, your cars, your things. We have to kind of walk around. We have to really kind of be like, wow, that was a magical state of being that we were in. I had no clue what's even happening. I'm still trying to piece together how it is that this even happened. It's going to take some time to not only get our bearings back but to actually gauge the changes in circumstances that have taken place while Mercury was essentially drugged in his retrograde. Over the course of the 2-week post-shadow period up until June 1st, this is where we're trying to make sense of things, where we're coming up with a strategy, with an action plan on how it is that we're going to clean up this mess and clean up the debris and, you know, do what we will with the items left in our yard and do what we will to replace the items that got removed from our yard, if you will. And so this is like a piecing together, and we really won't have a clear perspective and understand fully of all that has transpired until we get into June. And again, we're still in this eclipse energy until the 19th. So we have 5 days of this overlap between the eclipse energy fog and the mental fog that we're waking up from to really distort our perception, to really kind of put us at a disadvantage to understand fully not only all that has happened, but what this means for us in moving forward. So this is a very, let's call it sobering time, and it never feels good to wake up after a bender, right? Never feels good to come back into the physical body and feel the aches and pains and the highs and lows and wonder where you got all your bruises from, and, you know, just try to gain perspective and find a new grounding point emotionally and just kind of nurse yourself back to a state of health and wellness, let alone a place of stability as well. So it's always very interesting when Mercury is retrograde, and especially the energy that it's retrograde in. And as you may or may not know, if you listen to the 2023 energy forecast at the beginning of the year, you would know that all the Mercury retrogrades this year taking place in earth energies. And I don't know about y'all, but I find when Mercury retrogrades in the earth energies, we feel it so much more. You know, like the technology was just a shit show. Communication was an absolute mess. We seen the damage, the destruction taking place as it kind of fell apart in our physical realms. We seen the ever-changing landscape, but not fully knowing why it was changing or how we were going to correct it. And it just has a major impact, more so on our physical body, because again, Taurus energy is the physical body, is the physical realm. And it just like slows us down to not even a snail's pace of being able to understand, to perceive, to process in the right kind of energies. Like we're just struggling here, and it does feel very detrimental to kind of wake up and gain your bearings back and then move through the next couple of weeks of trying to put the pieces together. So we are again still trying to clean up, readjust, revise, reflect, realign, recalibrate with the mess, with the damage, with the changes that have taken place while Mercury was retrograde. After June 1st, we will actively be taking a charge on not only fixing some of the issues that popped off, but we will actively be building new elements in the places that got cleaned out, providing us a space for something new in order for us to actually move on and move forward. So it is going to be a very interesting couple of days, especially until we get to that new moon in Taurus, which officially closes the door on the eclipse energy. And then, you know, I will talk about the new moon in Taurus in a different forecast, but essentially it zaps us back into our physical body, and we're going to feel the abruptness, if you will, because many of us have been walking around with our heads detached, living in a fog, living in the spiritual realm, living in our inner realms. Everything has been discombobulated, and you best believe that that new moon in Taurus will shove our soul, our spirit back into our physical bodies. We will have no choice but to reorient with our physical bodies, with our physical selves, with our physical circumstances, and then again, we get returned to regular energy programming where we get to actually clean up the mess, if you will, of some of the things that popped off during eclipse season, during Mercury's retrograde. So, of course, the mental plane definitely going to have some different sensations taking place to the headspace, new realization, new epiphanies popping off, again, kind of gaining clarity through the revision, reflection of all that has transpired. Communication will continue to improve to gain a little bit more confidence and clarity, not only with the way that we articulate what it is that we want to say, but with the way that our messages, our conversations are actually being received. But again, in this post-shadow period, misunderstandings are still a thing, so we want to be a little bit conscious of that. And realistically, we are just going to set a brand new set of eyes on a brand new, I'm going to say, circumstance and our physical reality. We will see the confusion dissipate, but with that comes a lot of sobering situations like, what the F? What the F happened? What the F am I supposed to do with this? What the F am I supposed to do moving forward? That's a different level of confusion. We actually are going to be gaining control over rectifying some of the situations that fell apart, which we have not had control over for weeks and weeks and weeks now, not only due to retrograde season, but also due to the eclipse season as well. So we are going to start piecing things together very, very slowly in this Taurus energy. It's a fixed earth sign. Very slowly will we see the pieces start to kind of snap together, reveal the bigger picture, have a different understanding, have a different perspective of what's going on here. And then, of course, we will get in a situation where some very serious decisions will have to be made. And then, of course, new paths, new directions, new opportunities open up for us because of it. So yes, this is a time to kind of reevaluate, rethink, if you will, on some of the old ideas, old past decisions, directions that you might have had at the beginning of April. It's hard to kind of rewind back to April, but that's where we're going back to that 5th degree of Taurus energy that Mercury is waking up in, and now we have to retrace our steps 10 degrees up to that 15th degree that Mercury actually went retrograde in. June 1st, we will be moving into brand new territory where Mercury in Taurus is concerned, because we will kind of pass by that 15th degree. We will gain that clarity. We will be up to that meet point, and then we can proceed in moving forward.